So, welcome back to Riga in Latvia for round 6 of the 2020 FIA World Rallycross Championship. I'm Neil, and you're very welcome to the glorious sunshine. This is the area, if you weren't watching earlier, where they check the tyres, and today the tyre strategy is going to be crucial. During this live stream, you will see qualifying 2 for round 6 of World RX, plus qualifying 4 of Euro RX round 2, and Project E qualifying 4. So there's a lot over the course of the next hour to watch. Let's see if we can grab a word with one of our drivers. First of all, I don't know if he's going to edge forward. Let's just quickly speak to Reinis Nitish, because of course he's our Latvian driver racing at home. Just trying to manage the microphone getting in. Reinis, we know that it's a comeback to Rallycross. Are you enjoying it?
I think you need some speaker when you're talking to us. Yeah, Q2 ahead of us, and yeah, Q1 didn't go as planned. We went a bit wrong direction with the car, but still we are fighting, we are testing, we are improving, and that's our main thing.
And it's very good as well. Thanks, Reinis. So important to point out, for the first time this season, we do actually have some spectators here in Riga to cheer on home heroes like Reinis Nitish and, of course, Jānis Baumanis in Project E. Let's see if there's anyone else that we could talk to, because the cars are pulling up and sometimes the drivers get out. So let's have a look. See if we can speak to Andreas Bakkerud, maybe. Come over here. If you missed Q1 earlier, don't worry, we'll show you a recap shortly. Let's just have a quick word with Andreas. Andreas, it's good to see you this morning. You had a little bit of a difficult Q1. Tell us what happened with Robin.
Yeah, it was tight into turn 1, you know. He went in, I felt I had a perfect start, but he just got me there, you know. Then trying to fight back, I think it was quite equal. Then it's so hard to do an overtake here, you know. So me and Timmy was very equal out from the last turn. When he did his joker, went around the outside and just got him over the line. So very happy for that. I think we delivered consistency today, so hopefully we can bring that also for Q2, Q3.
Well done, thank you, Andreas. Good luck. So let's, if none of that made any sense to you, it means you didn't watch qualifying 1. So let's put that straight. Let's have a look back with Andrew Coley and Dan Rook.
Mattias Ekström with a brilliant start on the outside. He had a terrible draw yesterday, not as terrible as Nitish's start was sideways. He did well to keep the car out of the wall. But Ekström, last to pick in the driver draw, ended up in the first race and on the outside. But the times in free practice had shown that the track was really quick. One mistake from Ekström rattled him, but he put in the fastest time of the weekend so far. Andreas Bakkerud on the inside, very equal start. Watch for Larsen coming across Parsonen and Bakkerud. Tiny bit of contact there. Scheider manages to get around the outside into P2. Bakkerud down in 3rd. Larsen wasn't quite as quick as Ekström in terms of outright pace. Didn't have any mistakes in his run though. Bakkerud just managed to pick Scheider at the line. Race 3, Timothy on the inside of Rennie Munick, was left at the line. Liam Doran with a bit of contact on the rush and up towards the first corner. Gronholm got all the way around the outside. Doran unfortunately nowhere to go and ends up on the outside of turn 2. Gronholm and Timosyanov running together out front. Timmer made this mistake on the brakes in the Joker. It just ran him wide. He had to wait ages to get back on the throttle, and that put him into the clutches of Liam Doran, who let him know that he was there. Great battle between them, but losing time with too much sideways. Gronholm absolutely flying at the front, not as quick as Ekström though. Timosyanov chased by Liam Doran to the flag. Final race of the session. Kristoffersson outside Timmy Hansen. Hansen matched him off the start down to turn 1. That saw Johan in P2. Behind Bachuska, Markland and Kevin Hansen all in a battle. So Kristoffersson went joker on the very first lap. That put him back into traffic. Luckily for him, Bachuska disappeared on the next lap, but he could not find a way past Kevin Hansen. It looked like they would be losing time to Timmy Hansen, whose lap times out front were great. Some parts falling off the Polo, rare to see the car in such a tight battle, but as you can see, Timmy Hansen at the line, very clever with where he places the car. Kristoffersson can't quite get past. None of them though as quick as Ekström. Here are the standings at the end of Q1. Ekström with that fantastic win from the first race on the outside. The last person in the driver draw, the first person in the results. Larsen, Timmy Hansen, Kristoffersson, Gronholm, Bakkerud, Scheider, Sabo, the top 8. Who's inside the top 12? Kevin Hansen, Anton Markham, Timothy Janov and Liam Doran. Reinis Nitish 1 point off at home, and I'm sure Shisha, Bachuska and Rennie Munich would all like to be in the semi-finals as well. We've got cars down on the grid already. We're pretty much good to go. Where are they? They are. Door open on Munich's car. It's not particularly well. What is it? No, it's 13.8 in terms of air temperature. Track temperature's gone up 3 degrees to 20. Ekström proving that the track didn't really develop, although I suspect if Kristoffersson had had clear air, he might have been a bit closer, but it was close the whole way through the session. It's slowest first in this one as well. Q2, race 1. Rokas Bachuska has the inside line with his teammate and team boss Gulan Shisha. Next to him, then it's Rennie Munich and Jani Parsonen. 4 new tyres for Munich. Look, they're desperate to get a better result, aren't they? Not so much Shisha Bachuska with the older tyres on. Parsonen 2 new ones on the outside. Parsonen, where was he yesterday? I'm trying to see. Obviously he had his engine issue. I'm trying to think what he did before that. Yeah, he was only P14 in the previous one. So hard to know in terms of pace here. We know Shisha and Bachuska have been struggling. Rennie Munich did well yesterday and actually made the semis, but then said he had a technical issue, gave that spot up for Timo Scheider. Terrible start for Shisha, it backwards immediately. Rennie Munich to the inside, gets a little nudge from behind from Bachuska, who's in danger of picking up his teammate there. Luckily doesn't. So Munich's got the whole shot.
A lot of smoke from the back of Munich again on the line there, but this time actually pulling away as Parson runs wide. And who's that? It's Bachuska.
Don't park it there. That is the absolute last place in the world I would be wanting to leave a World Rallycross car. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, we've got a few champions walls in this sport, and that's one of them. I think the champions wall really is probably the one on the exit of the second to last corner in Canada, where Loeb went in the wall there, didn't he? Was it Loeb binned it? I can't remember what gem came out for that one, but he was in the wall there. But I know that's why we love this sport, isn't it? The walls are close, the commitment's big. Rennie Munich's first lap is a 49.4. Not so bad.
No, not so bad at all. Like he needs a good result in this race, doesn't he? What was his lap times in the first one? 49.2 he done on the first qualifying session. So 2 attempts down on the previous run, but of course he's still got 3 more laps to go.
Now, if you watched Supercar Euro earlier, you'll know that Peter Hedström was under investigation for giving Thomas Brinderson a drive-through penalty, is what I'm calling it, in the first corner, and Hedström has just popped up on the timing screen as a 10-second penalty, so Hedström will be starting very early. There goes Bachuska climbing over the wall. Look at that, just hop straight up onto it. I can't do that.
You could probably just step onto it.
That's true, yeah, I'd just do a gangly old step up, wouldn't I? We'd be job done. Shisha is jokered. Bachuska's not going to be very happy, is he, I would suggest. Dipped out in Finland to let Kevin Hansen drive the car again, but they couldn't really find the pace. I wonder if maybe, is it testing on French circuits, Dan, and then, this is much more like a French rallycross track. French rallycross tracks have a fairly specific style. Yeah,
they all seem to be quite a fast track, don't they? The gravel's very similar to here. Of course, when you look at Lohéac, it's very much the same as well, isn't it? Quite an abrasive, grippy surface.
To be fair, they're not the only people who got caught out. You know, when the likes of Gronholm and Hansen are struggling, as teams, not individuals, are struggling for settings as well. Yeah, we started this season with a number of people on the back foot. They've maybe responded a bit quicker, but...
Yeah, but I mean, we didn't see too much pace from those Clios last year either. It's just whether, I don't know if the development they've done over the winters actually paid off or not. Of course, they were running last year with Cyril Raymond and Guillaume de Ridder. Look
how quick Cyril is in the Project E car. De Ridder came straight back to RX2 in Denmark a couple of weeks ago and was bang on the front running pace of Henrik Krogstad. He nearly won the RX2 title. Krogstad actually won RX2 and Supercar Lights for Rally X Nordic. all in one weekend with Yellow Squad. It was a great weekend for him. RX2 unfortunately wasn't able to join us this year for its final year because obviously of COVID. We just don't have enough space in the paddock to maintain all the FIA regulations. We're very strictly governed by the FIA on what we can and can't do. So RX2 wasn't here. They had a double-header shootout. But yeah, Derrida definitely a front runner, and it's a good result for Schiesrit. Look, just trying to see what his time is going. Schiesrit 3:30.0. See what he did. What did Schiesrit do yesterday? 3:31, 3:33. Yeah, so that's a better time for Schiesrit.
He did a 3:29.0 on Q1.
Yeah, okay. So he's consistently quicker today than he was yesterday. Munich takes it with a 3:27.5 from Schiesrit, 2.5 seconds ahead. Then Parson and Baciuska with a DNF. They'll keep working, I'm sure. Schiesrit did look a little bit down in the dumps yesterday at the driver draw, and a rough start to the season for them. We know how hard everybody works. It's not easy, this. Good start for Munich, wasn't it? From the outside, just smoothly across, just gently shut the door. And then, I don't know if Baciuska got clattered in the first corner. It didn't look like, front right, front left maybe, not sure.
Yeah, or maybe even some damage to the front end. It was quite a heavy impact into the back.
It's a nice long shot through the trees there, popping the curve. I like that. That's great, gives you a real idea of the speed. That's still my favourite corner, turn 3.
Yeah.
Here.
So quick, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just mint. It's properly on the brakes, pitch it in, get on the gas, love it.
René, a great race. How was it for you?
Well, I think it was okay, but I have to slow down too much for the jump because my back hurts too much. So I think the overall lap time will be not so good, but at least a heat win.
Yeah, well done, thank you.
Very honest with René, wasn't he? His back hurts too much to take the jump flat out. Fair enough.
Well, it's a flat landing, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's hard.
It's a hard landing. And we've seen some of the cars are able to squash it just a little bit more. Cars are still being held in the grid. Oh, that's why. Look, okay. Looking at Baciuska's car, being chucked on the back of the truck using a Manitou. That's pretty standard. You stick a fork under it, basically, don't you? I'm done. Stick a fork in me. That's roughly what it is, isn't it? And then up on the truck and away. See all the marshals with their masks on as well. I say if you're inside the event, and that means the track, the paddock, the walkways in between, so all of us, we have to wear masks every time we're moving around. The only time you don't have to is if you're in your little bubble within your work area. It's complicated. But we are in scenario 2 here, which is better than the scenario we were in before. I can't remember which is worse, scenario 1 or scenario 3. I don't know. I know the middle one's better than the one we were in. I can't remember which way around it was, but that basically means we can have some fans. That's what we like whenever possible. Markham with the practice launch. I do quite like seeing the practice launches. Timmy now. Look at that, there's a little grin there from that kid. He's like, I don't know what this is quite yet, but I like it. I do like it. Liam Doran about to practice launch as well, and then Rainis Nitish.
Reminds you of that kid, of video of that kid at the MotoGP, was it, at Silverstone? Have you seen that one?
I haven't seen it, no.
Oh, he's like ecstatic, the bikes are going past.
Just made up.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I've only been to MotoGP once, worked at it once in 2012, I think it was, and stood on the top of the wing building at Silverstone. I'll tell you what, they've got some kahunas. They really have. Like hanging onto a MotoGP bike through that last corner and up the start-finish straight is mint.
Can't say I've ever been. Maybe one for the bucket list.
Yeah, it was good. It was the commitment. Look, you can see it on screen anyway, but I did like it. I have to say. But they're so exposed. It's a different level for me. It wouldn't be something I could do. But I do enjoy it. Right, here we go. Q2 for round 6 of FIA World RX 2020. Race 2, Anton Markland, Timothy Mazyanov, Liam Doran and Rainis Nitish. If you look, they're P10, 11, 12 and 13. New boots for Timmer. GRX with really mixed results in that last session. Gronon was 5th, Sabo was 8th, Timozyanov was 11th. So they're chucking new tyres on it now. And I think that is, this is what Kristoffersson was talking about with Neil at the end of the last stream. When do you put the new tyres on? You want ultimate pace. at the crucial time in the day, but if you haven't had a good Q1, it is crucial now. There's only 3 qualifiers, but if you put the new boots on, do not waste them on a bad start. Good start, Timozianov got Markland instantly off the line. Markland straight down to P4. Timozianov got to hold on the inside. Liam Doran is careful enough. There's maybe a bit of contact with him and Markland. Reinis Nitish can't find a way through. Timozianov with the whole shot. Right, so Tim has got the first part of the job done, Dan. He did a great couple of laps in Q1, but Liam Doran ended up close behind him last time when Timmer made a mistake. He made a mistake going into the Joker lap, splitting the strategy from Gronon, which is what you would expect them to do. He's got to keep his eyes forward here and not get distracted driving his mirrors.
Yeah, it's a very easy thing to do, isn't it? Now he knows he's out in front and he's got 3 cars behind him to start making a few mistakes. We're starting to pull a little bit of a gap. Liam Doran gone to the Joker lap there, so maybe he feels like he's got a bit more pace on
but he didn't have the pace over there. He wasn't in his boot lid, was he? For me, he was a good few car lengths back.
I think he pulls it in the first half of the lap, and then when it starts to go to the jump sections and the hairpins, it starts to back off a little bit.
Interesting tactics. So he's gone Joker really early. So yeah, mate, Dan, of course he caught him in the hairpin at turn 4 was where he had the contact. So if he feels he is sufficiently quicker through this section of the track, maybe Dan's bang on the money, and that's what he's done. I suppose when you got Nitish and Markland in there, you're not really in any danger of catching up too quick.
No, he's got enough of a gap back. He's got 2 seconds to Nitish, so it's enough, isn't it? It's enough to make up.
Trouble is, Nitish, you almost want the gap to be 3, so Nitish thinks he might be able to defend it, because if he does, he responds and goes. And in fact, he does anyway. So Nitish has gone now, and probably in an attempt to cover off Liam, but I think Liam's got easily enough time here. He has come around the outside. This one won't be too close. So Liam Doran then with an early Joker. Has he pulled a master stroke? Is it Mansfield who's pulled a master stroke? 48.7. He's the quickest car on track. So Liam Doran is quicker than Timozianov at the minute out front, and he was right with him. The last lap it was only a 10th. Sector times are coming in now.
Pulled a 10th.
Okay, so Timozianov is only 10ths in it. For me, if I were Timmer, I might go now.
Yeah, just cover it off.
Might as well, but he's not going to end up too, Markland's going quickly enough that he's probably not going to get stuck. And again, it depends what line you want out of the last corner. He doesn't. So Timozianov takes the standard lap. That's the other thing, isn't it? And I guess you discussed this. I'm sure each team has their own opinion on whether or not, if you're given the choice, you go on 3 or 4. If you don't have to go, what line do you want to be on? And the quicker line to the line, I imagine, is off the standard lap, isn't it?
Yes, it will be. Yeah, you carry more speed. You can't wash the car out to the outside of the circuit. So then it's only a matter of tenths that you'll be saving, because the line does come up quite quick.
When it's in terms of the final lap, though, again, I might have been tempted to go then, unless they don't want Doran all over him on the last lap.
He's gone back to 4.6 now, so Timozianov's pulled a bit of a gap.
Interested in the tactics and the things, we have time just about to have a think about it, have a talk about it in the spotter room, to make those split-second decisions every lap. So basically you might have sacrificed 3/10 on the exit here of the Joker, but what you've done is guaranteed you don't get in a fight on lap 3. You take safety over tenths. Liam Doran's gone backwards at the back of the pack again. Another problem for the British bomb. That is a great shame. We were thinking he was going to be up there with Timmer. He hasn't lost too much time this time, but still not cool. 3:24.0 for Timozianov. Would have put him in P6 in the previous session. So that's a decent run from Timozianov. Taking the win, Markland second, Reinis Nitish third. Liam Doran looked like he was going to challenge Timmer, and then we saw him drop off the pace suddenly on lap 4, and he slots into 6. So at least it's not a disaster for Liam, but let's say it's not ideal. Great start, Timmer. How critical are new tyres to a start? They're critical to outright lap time.
Yeah, I mean, of course, they do a dummy launch beforehand, so they've scrubbed off almost the shiny surface of the new tyre, if you like. But then they've not put too much heat into it, so they've still got a fresh heat cycle. They've got enough surface heat to get the launch away. It's just that thing of fresh rubber, because it's not just the tread depth, it's how many times they've gone hot and cold through the day.
Well, Timmer making the most of it. We said if you put new boots on, you've got to get it done. And that is what he did. I'm disappointed for Liam. He doesn't get in the way of Reinis Nitish. Good run, Timosyanov. It would have been P6 in Q1.
Timo, you needed a good, clean race. How was it for you?
Yeah, we have a good start, clear run. I think try to save more tires for the future because the race is long and the track is really strong for the tires. Now we are finishing with a good time in front of our competitors, and we will see how the other group is going.
Okay, thank you. Good luck.
Already. Race 3, Q2. Bakkerud, Scheider, Sabo and Hansen. Relatively safe look. Sabo's going new tyres as well. So our GRX playing the same card across the entire pack, if you like, this time round. Scheider, 3 new boots, Bakkerud with 2. Now we're properly ready. I love that. Just you can hear each car. Got to get a sequential box in your road car. You really have. I know a man who's just got one. He's at the mon. Hope you're having fun through. Green light. Bakkerud hasn't got a great start there. He might just hold on the inside line. Scheider squeezing Sabo out wide. And I tell you what, for what was not a brilliant start, to have the whole shot is good. Sabo up the inside of Scheider, but can't make it stick. Kevin Hansen looks. Sabo goes defensive. That'll give Scheider just a tiny bit of breathing space on the exit. And it does. Scheider late on the brakes into the hairpin. Bakkerud did really well to hang on to that, Dan, because for me that was an average start, and somehow he's still out front.
Yeah, it was lucky there where Scheider pushed the rest of the pack over to give himself a little bit of space. That opened up the door for Andreas to straight line it into turn 2 to get up the inside. If Scheider was leaning on Andreas a little bit more, he wouldn't have had that chance.
Bakkerud pops the curb. Look how much curb Sabo used in the background, every bit of it. Sabo's car has been updated since Rudkonen used it in Finland last time. Stefan Spies messaged me yesterday and said, I can see the exhaust has moved, what's going on? And we'd spotted already that Rudkonen was running a different spec of exhaust in Finland to the other 2 cars, and they've actually updated Sabo's car between Finland and Latvia to run the same spec exhaust as Gronholm and Timosyanov. It's actually not a performance upgrade. They put an S-bend in the exhaust so that when they get rear-ended, it doesn't break the whole exhaust, it just breaks the rear section, because with 2 bends in it, it pushes it out of the way. If it's a straight pipe, it destroys the whole thing. How clever is that?
Yeah, of course. Well, yeah, when you think about it, if it gets pushed from behind, it's going all the way through,
right
isn't
to the
it?
manifold. You could be looking at all sorts of damage, couldn't you, up to the front end of the car? So, yeah, just these are the details, particularly in things like a double header. Danny got no time. Kevin Hansen coming around the outside of Sabo. Sabo trying to hold on. Will he have enough room? He can't quite. God, that was close. I wonder if he committed to the throttle a little bit more if he could have done, but you've got to stay out of trouble as well. Again, double header, 3 qualifiers in a row. We haven't actually seen anyone suffer the kind of catastrophic damage that you know that can't be repaired in between. Okay, yesterday passed them with the exhaust, but you know what I mean. No one's ripped a corner off and only had 40 minutes to put it back on again.
Yeah, they've all been driving very sensibly, haven't they? I mean, you've got to remember we're in a World Championship, aren't we?
Top level, isn't it, to be fair?
It is very much top level, and all these boys just being sensible.
Bakkerud's lap times are in the 48s now. He's done a 48.6. No one else is on that pace. So Bakkerud is quick here. 49.0 is the quickest. He does a 48.7. So Andreas Bakkerud going really well. He's quicker than Timosyanov, who's currently top of the pile. Only by a tenth in terms of outright lap pace, but he looks really good through turn 3. So Bakkerud hoping for an absolutely perfect run here. Going to have to get the joker right. Scheider, Kevin Hansen. Scheider's 4.4 back. He's pretty clear here, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got a really good gap here, hasn't he? Scheider not able to put in the laps. Scheider's not even gone into the 48s.
Here when he rolled off the throttle, just a slightly different engine tone. Me and Dan both panicked and looked at each other in the comms box, and it seems okay. Over the jump on the outside in the joker, Andreas Bakkerud aiming for the top time of Timosyanov. Timo will be fairly close, but not close enough to compromise Andreas' run to the line, and it is a 3:23.7. It's enough by 0.3 of a second to go to the top of the table. Timosyanov actually holds on to P2. Oh, Sabo's car Sabo's car with a big problem. Well, we were just talking about big damage in between and whether or not you'd be able to get it done in time for the next session. That's up at the champion hairpin. That's turn 4. More fire extinguishers out of the car as quick as they can. They're asking for more extinguishers, so this is a big problem, Dan.
Yeah, that's not a good sight we want to see, is it?
No, never. There's a lot of smoke inside the car. Look at the inside of the windscreen. I might have set the extinguishers off as well. Watch for the flames if they open the bonnet. Here we go. No, I reckon they're it's just towards the rear. It's under control, but GRX will be. That's a big ask. How long have they got? Bakkerud, Scheider, Hansen, Christian Sabo with a DNF and work to do for the team to get him back out. Bakkerud top of the table. Q1 he was in 6th, so that's a good result for Bakkerud. Wonder what the Norwegian thinks of that.
Andreas, quickest so far, you've got to be happy with that.
Yeah, very happy that we finally do a race win. First time here in Riga this year, so it's great being back on this track. Fantastic weather, good to see some crowd back. Unfortunately, we don't have so much speed. You know, I try to push everything I have, and unfortunately, this car is doing anything faster at the moment. But we are pushing everything we can to find and adjust. So hopefully, we can come back stronger later on.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Always smiling, Bakkerud. Bless him. This is not the year he was hoping for, I know. When you look how close he was in the title fight last year, it's been mad, really, the change of pace of the relative different teams. I was going to say in the short few months between the seasons, but of course it was actually a long few months, thanks to everything that's happened this year. Good run for Bakkerud. Kevin Hansen lost out at the start, didn't he? And although he did some good lap times in the middle, it wasn't really enough to get back to. He did a 48.8. Bakkerud was in a 48.6, 48.7, so he says he's going as quick as the car can go, Dan.
Yeah.
And I believe him.
Yeah, I do. Everybody else has made a massive step up again this year, haven't they?
Didn't see the actual instant with Sabo. Just looks like he's parked it, doesn't it, up at the far end of the track. We saw him on just the previous lap fighting for it. Bakkerud takes it and he's fastest so far. Sabo's car still up there, look. Ooh. Still looking in there. It's either gone or it hasn't. Mind you, there's still smoke. I mean, you know, underneath maybe, lads. Oh, Pinnamaki and co will be gutted. There's a big job on there. Christian will have had a look at the car just from the point of view of getting back to them. Trouble is, he'll have got out of the car very quickly, meaning he's lost comms. And of course, once he's lost comms, you've either got to get back in the car and plug it all back in again, which he isn't doing right now, or he's got to have his phone on him, and not all the drivers do. Most of them don't.
No.
But I'm confident the GRX guys will be watching the stream. Yeah, and Sabo with the chin scratch that says, oh dear. Here it goes again onto the recovery truck. Well, we'll get ourselves down to the paddock in between sessions if Neil doesn't get down there at the end and find out just how much work there is to do on Sabo's car. He was 8th, so he was 2nd of the 3 cars. Gronon was 5th, but an 8th and a DNF is going to drop him towards the lower end. The thing is, he's so quick compared to the likes of Bachuska, Shisharit, Parsonen, you know, Munich and Nitish, that's your bottom 5. That if they can get the car back out, Dan, he should still make it. So you're gonna do everything you can to get that car back out. But we all know that a fire is, you know, if we're talking vast areas of the loom, it's a nightmare. How long have they got? It is, what's the time now? It's 11:40 local, and they are due back out. To be fair, there's lunch break. They're not due back until 1:30. So you've got an hour and 50 minutes. Now, yeah, we're saying that, believe me, if you took that car to your local dealership, I'll tell you right now, your insurance assessor would say it's a write-off. But this is not the kind of car that you write off for a fire. So they're going to have to do miracles on that car. There might well be piles of parts out already. I suspect mostly things like wiring. Rest of the cars with a bit of a hold down on the grid. Fastest 5 from Q1.
I'm intrigued to see what happens with tyres. We were having a quick conversation about this, weren't we?
Well, because it's Johan who triggered it, really, didn't he? Saying, you know, when do you do it? There is still, is it just, yeah. Okay, well, look, we know what's going on there. Yeah, Johan said, didn't he, when are you going to take them? When are you going to take those tyres? Do you risk it now? Look at Tim Johan, if he risked it for a biscuit, and he got the start, got the job done.
See, I was saying that I reckon you take some new tyres now, try and push Johan down the running order in qualifying. So he's at a disadvantage for the semis and the final.
I think the question for me is, what does Johan do now? Because I think this is a tough race, obviously, with the quick guys in there. I don't know if I wouldn't go on used tyres if I was Johan anyway, because he knows he's going to be in the mix and he's got a big championship lead, and just save the boots for the really critical time. See what happens in this one, see where you're on the grid in Q3. If you maybe get some result here on old tyres and can save the tyres for later in the day. 3 sets, remember, we mentioned this earlier today if you didn't join us. Yesterday they had free practice, so they would have put 8 to 12 laps on at least one set, or potentially 4 laps on 2 or 3 sets, but they didn't, because we all know they had loads of new tyres later in the day. This man had 5 come the semi-finals of his 12. 8 is allowed and 4 from a previous event. Today, because morning warm-up is only 2 laps, and a lot of people pulled straight off. Most only did 1 lap. Ekström and Larsen did no laps. They did a practice start and pulled straight off. So we know they've used new tyres, or very new tyres in Q1. We know they've all got 8 new tyres left. It's about when they play them. Probably got people wandering around the paddock. When I was down there just now, I ran back to the paddock in between sessions. Sébastien was rolling his own tyres around to the front, and Kristoffersson had a look. The car was up on stands, and 3 used boots out at the front, but the engineers were in the tent at the back with a stack of new ones and a stack of old ones. You're going to find out in a second what's on the car. Assuming our spies get it right, of course, down in the pre-grid. It's the final race of Q2, round 6 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship from Riga in Latvia. Ekström and Larsen, teammates on the inside, side by side. Timmy Hansen, in the middle of the grid. Johan P4 and Niklas Gronholm out in P5. So Timmy, the only driver who hasn't taken new tyres. 2 on the front for Ekström, Larsen, Kristoffersson, 2 on one side for Gronholm. So Gronholm's opting not to stress these tyres that much because they're on the inside of the car.
Interesting.
Yes, scratch his beard. Interesting. Hansen got a great start last time, but we know he would have been on newer tyres than he is now. Can he match the Polo again? Can Johan get the whole shot that he needs to try and drag himself up the standings? Ekström and Larsen on the inside surely will give each other a bit of space. Really, even on the run to turn 1, Hansen's gone backwards, so the tyre strategy hasn't paid off there. Kristoffersson down in P4. Timmy going to come around the outside. Can he hold on from Johan? Johan shuts the door on him. Johan gets up to P3. But it is Ekström and Larsen out front. Larsen shuts the door on Kristoffersson, who's early on the gas and right with him. Gronholm down in P5 has a look to the inside of Hansen, but can't make that work either. So it's Ekström out front. Advantage Ekström.
Yeah, well, advantage KYB Team JC 1 and 2, so they've got control of this now. I think we're going to see Johan go to the Joker lap now. I would not be surprised.
Well, it depends on what Larsen does. But then if Larsen goes, he does. I was going to say if Larsen went, it would release him anyway to chase Ekström. So now it's about whether Ekström will respond on the next lap. Dan, come on, what do you think?
Robin's going next lap.
Do you think Robin next lap to cover it off?
Lap, yeah.
Well, they look at the gaps, I guess, won't they? If they think Kristoffersson's eating them alive, which I'm not sure he will, but if they think he is, I reckon they could send both. But make the merge difficult with Larsen, but guarantee Ekström in case Larsen, if Larsen gets edged by Kristoffersson, whoa, Will in the dirt for Larsen, he's hanging it out big time. Then Kristoffersson then can hunt Ekström. Gap at the minute back to Kristoffersson is just a smidge over 4 seconds. Timmy Hansen's gone Joker as well. Keep an eye on the lap times for you, let you know what we think's going on with tyres. Larsen's been dropped a little bit by Ekström. Ekström goes standard lap, Larsen goes Joker. Dan Root called it bang on the money. So this is to make life difficult for Kristoffersson. Kristoffersson on the standard lap. Here comes Larsen now. Johan will be desperate to get past Robin. Robin's made a mistake, or has he got a problem? So a problem or a mistake for Larsen. Tries to get out and shut off Timmy. It's a problem for Larsen, I think. What's going on there? Yeah, definitely.
Drive shaft, maybe.
Yeah, Larsen's got a problem. So Robin Larsen is out of this in terms of tactics. Now it's Ekström versus Kristoffersson. The gap's down to 3.8. He's taken 2/10 out of him.
Yeah, so he's really now, he's got the gap, hasn't he? He can really push for it, but Ekström now, he's going to respond, and he's got to go now.
I think so. You might as well cover off your main rival in the championship. Ekström over the jump, surely going to split left to the Joker lap. 3.9, he's done it by another 10th. Is he going to have the confidence to stay out? You know he will if he wants to. He does. He does. Only people like Ekström, Kristoffersson, Hansen, Bakkerud are the guys who would stay out and not cover it off. It's like a confidence thing. I know I'm quick enough to do it, but it's back to 3.7. Is it a mistake?
Potentially, or is Johan just starting to reel him in? We think 3.7 will probably be enough to cover him off 3.5. What more can he bring down in this session?
He's done it by 2/10 in each of the last two sectors. So Ekström maybe should have gone before. Edoc's fastest lap of the day, 48.190 for Ekström. Kristoffersson dropping a wheel over the dirt. That might cost him a 10. 3.6 is the gap now. Looking to see what it is when Ekström goes into the Joker lap this time round. Ekström won Q1. If he wins Q2, he's in a great position to hold on to top qualifier here, put himself in the best possible position. We don't know what his tyre strategy is through the course of the day. Kristoffersson inside, Ekström outside. Kristoffersson 3.5. Now they switch to the opposite lines. What's Johan going to do on the run to the line? Ekström will surely hold it in tight. On the gas to the line, Ekström wins. And the time is 3:22.1. That's the top of the table as well. So 3:22 straight to the top. That's the fastest. It's faster than yesterday. Not as fast as he went this morning. So 6/10 slower than he went this morning. But Ekström wins Q2 in a great fight with Kristoffersson. But that will see Kristoffersson line up next to him in the next one. And that potentially will give him a better start. Problem for Larsen.
It's the wheel.
Front right.
Yeah, front right. He must have clipped the tyres somewhere in the Joker.
But he's going to get it round, which means no DNF. He didn't get lapped. He's a long way off, obviously, so it's going to see him to the bottom of the pack. Trying to think if anyone else has had an issue in this session.
Bachushka and Zaba.
Yeah, so he's only going to be Pete. Well, I say only, it's not great, is it? He's going to drop Larsen out of contention, I think, because you need to be at the front here in the semi-finals. But he crosses the line anyway. Like, he was P2, Dan. That's the thing, is he was P2 in Q1. He's now going to be P12, P13, maybe P14. Ekström beats Kristoffersson only by 0.3 of a second. They are both ultra quick. They both took 2 new tyres for this one. Gronholm third, Timmy Hansen fourth, Larsen. Andreas Bakkerud is P3. That's a great result for him. Timmy is fourth. Fantastic. Ekström wins Q2. Good drive.
That's a Q2 win and a very good Joker strategy.
Start, and again I could drive clean laps, and it's such a lovely place, this track, and when you have good tires and a good balance of the car and get into the flow, it's just a pure pleasure.
Brilliant, well done, thank you.
Thank you very much.
So Ekström on the inside with Larsen. That's pretty even start. See, Hansen has lost out here. There's a bit of contact between him and Larsen. Timmy then goes inside Kristoffersson. Kristoffersson, I don't know if he had a knock from the rear from Gronholm. He then gets Timmy back in turn 2. And then it was strategy. So look, Ekström's happy. Job done, Dan, so it doesn't matter. But like when you're losing a couple of tenths here and there, Kristoffersson was pushing really hard. He did drop a wheel off on the dirt on the outside. I don't think that would have made enough of a difference. Larsen, he hits the, but look at that. Sure, Dan's got the old eagle eye on today, hasn't he? Touched the tyres in the Joker, he absolutely did. So that's a mistake from Larsen, hitting the tyres at the apex on the Joker lap. Cost him big time. This was Ekström's Joker. Look at that, trailing the brake right into the apex. He'll have known where Johan is at this point. Johan knows as well that Ekström's going to cover him off. Great fight between our top 2 championship rivals. Fantastic to see that battle continue between Kristoffersson and Ekström, and it is Ekström who is at the top of the table with 2 qualifying session wins. Can he make it a clean sweep? Looking at the gap on the right-hand side, I reckon Ekström's going to take the TQ here. Kristoffersson is second. Bakkerud is in P3. Brilliant for him. Hansen next to him, the championship rivals from last year. Gronholm, Scheider, Larsen, Timmy. And then it's Kevin Hansen, Anton Markman, Reini Snittish and Liam Doran just clinging on. Munich, Sabo's got problems, of course. Is Sabo going to get that car back out for the next session? All to play for, one more to go. Mega.
Got a fight.
Yeah, but ultimate ultra pace. Kristoffersson in terms of the laps there. What was his quickest time?
48.
Euro RX on the line now. We're still looking at our screens.
48.1.
Is that what's fastest lap so far? Was it 48.0 was in warm up, wasn't it, with Kevin Hansen, funnily enough. So 48.1 for Kristoffersson here, 48.3 for Ekström, but they both had 2 new tyres on. So we were saying yesterday the Polo was on old tyres in quali when Ekström was on newer. Then we got to the semis and it was the other way round. So you never got to the point where they were in the same strategy, Dan. And I think it's looking tight enough between them at the minute. That, wow, Gronom's got pace, 48.3. Timmy Hansen, Kevin Hansen, 48.8. They're missing half a second at the minute in terms of best lap. So well, it's the same 3 guys. The only 3 guys who've won sessions this year is Gronom, Ekström and Kristoffersson. Euro RX Q4 final session for these guys. Here we go. Dan Oberg, Mandy August, Peter Hedström and Andre Oon. Quick look at my standing says that Oon is in P14 with 1 DNF. Oberg is in P13 with 2 DNFs. Brinderson P12 with 1 DNF. So Brinderson not in this race, should be able to fight his way back. Mandy August is 11th. Loads of chatter from the wastegates there as the anti-lag's on before the launch. Good start, Hedström, but Mandy August inside with a start that's tidy as well. Hedström got a telling off, of course, from the previous race. What was it? How big was his penalty? 10 seconds, wasn't it? So he was given a hefty penalty. I wonder if that was to drop him behind. Who was it that he pushed?
Brinderson.
Yes, was it to drop him behind Brinderson in the stand? No, it didn't, did it?
No.
He dropped into P10.
I don't think we're seeing Brinderson again, you know. He was supposed to be in this race.
Yes, you're right.
So they've dropped down Oberg into this race.
Oh man, that's gutting for Thomas. Thomas is so quick, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just really not had the luck, has he, this season?
Well spotted. So that's a last-minute change to the grids, isn't it? From what's we get good old-fashioned paper grids before the session starts. And yeah, the update there then is Brinderson's missing. Oh dear. So Brinderson was in P12. No, it's absolutely not going to happen, is it? As long as, well, assuming Oberg and Oon, if Oberg and Oon had a DNF and he had a DNS, there's only 1 point difference in that, I think, at the moment. Or have we not got that?
I think there's more than...
No, you're right, yeah, there is. We haven't had anybody with a DNS in Euro this weekend. So he's gone then, isn't he? Brinderson's gone.
Yeah, such a shame.
Don't feel he's had a particularly good run this year.
No, he was challenging Robin, wasn't he? Last year, was it? And,
he qualified 4th in Sweden, so we know he was quick. Now he had the problem there where he didn't start the semis. Now he's not even going to make the semis. It's a short season. I suppose if you're going to write the season off, this isn't a bad one to write off, but you don't really want to write the season off. It's momentum and sponsorship and
now
reputation.
He's going into next year on a negative now, so it's not what he wants to be doing.
I wonder if he'll bother with the last round. But having said that, they've got quite a long time now before their last round, which is scheduled to be at Spa-Francorchamps. So I would maybe go away and you have to look at the sum total of what all the issues are, don't you? And go, let's go back and run it again at Spa and see if you fixed it. So you do go into winter going, we're good for next year.
Yeah, and
or do you write it off and save the cost? It's probably not that expensive to run the car. I'm trying to think who runs him. Yeah, no, they run it themselves. So that's the best way to run it cheaply.
Yeah. But I mean, hopefully he will be back for the last round. I mean, it gives them a chance to see where they are against everybody if they're able to fix the problems as well.
Loeb's car pitching around a little bit. I feel like Loeb isn't quite able to lean on the car the whole way through the corners. So then when you lift and you know, if you're going to run a sort of Solberg-esque super soft car, unless it's got an issue, you know, if you're lifting mid-corner and changing the attitude of the car, it's going to pitch you about a lot. You kind of got to lean on it and then sit on it, haven't you?
Yeah, he's throwing the weight around all sorts of places. As we've just lost the badge.
Yeah, the Volkswagen badge just popped off the front. Those used to get stolen, didn't they? Left, right and centre. You come out and find the badge missing from your car. Thankfully, I think those days are pretty much gone, but there's one out there on the hairpin. You can't go and get it right now. You'll be in all sorts of trouble. Ekström coming through the last corner. Was down in P10. And this is a 331.7. How does that sit? 6th, 7th, 8th-ish. Ekström a fair way down on the grid. I'd be surprised if he can threaten for there down. Although, you know, basically you'll know, won't you, by the end of the first couple of corners. If you're wondering, Euro Supercar semi-finals will be ahead of World RX Q3. So our next stream later today, about 1:15 local time, which is an hour. We're an hour ahead of Central European time here. We'll start with the Euro Supercar semis, then we've got the World RX Q3, and then the Euro Supercar final at the end of that stream. So you can see all the Euro Supercar action here. Find out if Ekström can get a result from a bit further down the grid. Dan, talking about running cars, there's your results. Brinson was a DNS, so Brinson not going to make it. First race. You're talking about running cars. You ran your own car, but then you've also run with a team. Well, two teams. So you kind of, the supercar, I suppose you ran yourselves, didn't you, with assistants? But in RX2, you ran with FIA, and you know, Ekström's running his own team here, but with some other people. There's someone like Thomas Brinderson who's running his own team. What's the difference between being run and running?
I mean, obviously you've got the money aspect, haven't you? Because you've got to pay for everything so that the teams are making money. It's their business at the end of the day, so they have to be making a profit. Whereas when you're running on your own, you're running to cover costs rather than to make money. So there's that element, but then if you're running with a team, it's a bit, you know, you've not got the stress of trying to get everything sorted, logistics, everything else like that. So
yes, you're not taking the car to the events yourself. You're not having to necessarily spanner it yourself.
It looked like a good clean race. How was it? Just tell us how the race was.
Yes, it's good. It's some bad luck in the beginning of the day, but yeah, we saved tires a lot now, so we have 5 new tires for the final. So we hope to do something good with that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
No secrets from Ekström, just telling it straight. To be fair, he's in the same position Kristoffersson was in yesterday, but unfortunately I fear that being that far down the grid, you can't capitalise on that in the same way. But there isn't so much depth in talent in Euro as there is in World. He could get a result from there.
I think he can make his way further up, but the top end of Euro is very fast.
Yeah. So he's got, I guess the first battle is make the final, isn't it? Euro RX continues. Race 2, Q4. Andrea de Borg, Mikko Ikonen, Ale Fucik and Pleskavas. They are currently 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. Fucik and Pleskavas having a good event. Ikonen we'd expect to be somewhere on the pace, and de Borg definitely. Andrea de Borg has been 6th, 6th and 8th during the course of the weekend. There it is. Good start, Ikonen, de Borg alongside. Ikonen moves out to try and find a bit of space to go around the outside. One lock wheel from de Borg. Fucik monsters the way through. Ikonen, did he give a little nudge to the back of de Borg? Ikonen outside now. Fucik and Pleskavas lost out big time, but dives up the inside of Fucik. Have some of that. Can't quite make it work. Pleskavas at the back of the pack. That was a bold move, wasn't it, between Pleskavas and Fucik in one move? If he pulled that off, it would have been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, he can thread the needle all right, can't he?
Yeah. I don't know whether or not that's a gift, surely. How did Fucik hold on to that? Ikonen would have been desperate to get through. Fucik's a bit, Ikonen's attacking everywhere, and Pleskavas went. The problem is if Ikonen had gone Joker, Pleskavas probably wouldn't have done, and then he'd have caught Pleskavas and he's in trouble. So this is hurting Mikko Ikonen. Looks up the inside into turn 1. Definitely got the pace, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's all over the back of him now. See if he can get a switch back on the run down into turn 3. He's going to have a look. He's on legs on the brakes, but nah, decides better of it.
Now he goes outside. Fucik goes inside on the brakes. This time Ikonen finds the gap and makes it on the exit. Very nice pass from Rallycross. A little bit of contact, but that's perfectly okay, isn't it?
Yeah. We like a bit of contact, not too much.
No doors stoved in. It's a clean pass in Rally. Well, to be honest with you, doors getting stoved in Rallycross, you sometimes get away with it. I think the stewards are getting across it a bit more, aren't they? We've had this conversation a lot. We don't want to be a steward, and we don't want to see a wreck fest. But likewise, we do want to see drivers go for gaps, and so a pass like that, that's a proper clean pass in Rallycross. I'm impressed with Fucik this weekend, actually. Much better pace.
Yeah, he's been doing quite well, hasn't he?
Yeah, qualified 13th in Sweden, but then made the semis, of course, because Brinderson didn't start. So was first reserve and was actually 4th in his semi, nearly made the final. What? That wall and the dirt on the outside, you're pretty brave when you're putting a wheel over the curb, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen anyone pay a visit to that wall yet. We've had someone pretty much every year go into that wall.
Yes.
Oh, that's a heavy landing again for the ball.
We saw yesterday some big landings, didn't we? Staying out of the standard lap. The De Bourg's another self-run team, aren't they? But it's a bit different for them, self-run. Obviously, they're running both cars with the brothers, so what you were talking about earlier, they're probably not looking, on the one hand, to make a profit from it, but then it is also kind of business too, you know. They've got good sponsorship. They do a lot with Andros Trophy.
Yeah, I suppose there's two ways of looking at it, isn't there? There's the business side if you do want to make money running your own team.
Well, you've got the thing is, some people, you can pay yourself a wage if you've got enough sponsorship. You can make yourself a professional driver / team by raising more sponsorship than you need to race. And running 2 cars is certainly cheaper in terms of each car. You know, 1 truck is the expensive bit, isn't it? Dan, once everybody's there, second car, third car is cheaper and cheaper.
Yeah, you've already done the travel there. You've already got all the awning, the setup. So having a second car, of course, the cars are expensive to run in themselves. Yeah. But it's cheaper than if you were to say 2 separate teams. Or
yeah, totally. De Bourg smokes it up big time over the line. 3:32.0, not as quick as Peter Hedström. So De Bourg is second. Good run by Hedström. De Bourg, Ikonen, Fucik and Pleskavas. De Bourg's quick enough that he could have troubled Hedström. You wonder how good that time by Hedström is. So he wasn't, looking at the previous session, the top guy should beat him, but he'll be wanting to be as far up as he can to make use of those tyres come semi-finals. A lot of locked wheels there, Dan.
Yeah, Ikonen.
There's at least 2 passengers into turn 1, maybe 3.
Yeah, I think Ikonen was on his way to Russia then, wasn't he?
I don't know which way turn 1 faces. It's either that or the Baltic Sea, isn't it? But yeah, it was late. And then Fucik did really well to get that back to the Armco on the inside. I was sure Ikonen was going to go through. It was quite a good fight between them, to be fair. He went defensive here, look, and actually outbraked himself, and Ikonen was like, I'm coming through, see you later. So he would have lost a couple of seconds there. It was 3.1 off the back of De Bourg in the end. Andrea De Bourg, bit of contact under investigation as well, actually, between Fucik and Ikonen, so that'll be turn 1. But De Bourg is top at the moment. P2, sorry.
So it was a good clean race, but the time was not as quick as Peter Hedström.
Yes, I made a good start, but it was a little bit hard at the beginning, but after it was okay. The time is not good, like you told, but I do my best. I don't know what's happened. I'm not in good feeling with the car. There is a lot of grip on the track, and the car is not very good in this condition, so we will work hard to be better.
Okay, see you in the semis, thank you.
Interesting, the grip levels looking at the times, it's not much grippier than it was yesterday. We have seen some quicker times from the world guys, but he's obviously unhappy with the car. You don't know what he's doing with tyres as well. Is he on old tyres in high grip? Do they need to stiffen it up a bit?
I find that odd because he's in a French car. The track's like a French track.
Yeah.
You'd think it would suit it.
Just not happy, is he? Whatever it is, just not happy. So a bit of work to do for him. And does that suggest JB de Borg might have a similar issue? We'll see. Different driving style might work out. Last race of Euro RX qualifying round 2 of the 2020 season for these guys. Oliver Eriksson, the championship leader by 7 points from JB de Borg. In the standings, that is. Ben-Philip Gundersen, Tamas Kurai and Sondre Evjen. Kurai's down in 10th in the overall standings. This is the championship standings, not qualifying. Evjen is in 6th. Hedström's in 3rd in the standings, so Hedström got the podium in Sweden. Really does need to hope these guys get tangled up and he has a good result, gets himself further up the grids. Do like the top shot, I have to say. Final qualifying session for round 2 of European Rallycross 2020. Eriksson with a great start on the inside. Gundersen is going to be in a bit of a scrap there. JB de Borg as well. Kurai comes around the outside over the whole shot. Ollie Eriksson in P2. Gundersen slides around the outside to get the inside line from de Borg. Contact between them all the way to the break-ins over turn 3. Gundersen has to back it in to get it done. De Borg will maybe have a look up at the hairpin. Not close enough. So Kurai leading Eriksson. Eriksson's in a tricky situation here. Kurai has been quick enough, but he'll want him out. He was P5 in Q3. He's going to want him out the way, though.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? Oliver needs to make amends for his bad day yesterday, and he's gone to the Joker straight away. So Ollie's gone to the Joker, get himself out of the way of Kurai.
Right, de Borg's gone in. So JB de Borg, remember, is currently your top qualifier. He's 2nd in the Joker lap. Looking on the standard lap, Sondre Evjen in the Polo was your top qualifier before Q2. He's dropped down to P2. Gundersen has a look up the inside of Kurai along the wall. Maybe now can find a way through. Ben-Philip Gundersen with great traction, going to come around the outside. He'll hope Kurai goes defensive on the brakes, but he doesn't. Kurai's brave enough. Gundersen up the inside. That is a wonderful move if he can hold on. So committed. He had that car in a bit of opposite lock as he went into turn 3. But it's all that's done is handed Sondre Evjen the gap. So Evjen is on the back of these guys now. Has Evjen got enough time to be able to joke? Because if he gets held up, I think Evjen might go now anyway.
Yeah, he may as well. He's being held up, or if not, Ben-Philip will.
Gundersen goes. Is Evjen going to go with him? He does. Evjen's gone in with him. But I think de Borg is going to be close enough. This is going to be a very close merge between our championship front runners. Eriksson, de Borg, Gundersen, all in the mix. Eriksson round the outside. De Borg's going to go up the inside. JB de Borg with a brilliant move on Ben-Philip Gundersen. That was probably the busiest merge we've seen all weekend, I think. Ollie Eriksson in command of that. And JB de Borg doing a fantastic job. Remember, de Borg is 2nd in the championship to Oliver Eriksson, but at the minute, he's in the TQ spot with Ollie Eriksson down in 4th. He wants to hold on to TQ and close that gap down to 3 points. And this is about championship points here.
Yeah, of course. Ollie Eriksson needs a bit of a damage limitation as well, doesn't he? But he's already catching up to Kurai's gap 2.2. So
Eriksson could get Gundersen. He's 5 qualifying points behind him. If he wins the session, he could get Gundersen here because Gundersen isn't going to be close enough. They've got a whole nother lap to go. Kurai going Joker. Where's Kurai going to come out in the mix? Inside de Borg, but de Borg cuts him back again. JB's bang on it in this. He's not letting Eriksson get away. Gundersen's dropped in behind Kurai. In the background, there it is, a train of 3 cars. Contact through the apex at turn 2. This couldn't be closer.
No, it's very close, isn't it, for Euro Supercar? In the final
really good
qualifying session they've got as well. I want to see Ben-Philip try and get back at Kurai again.
Yeah, Ben-Philip's been so impressive this year. Sondre Evjen on the back of this pack, I'm afraid, he's definitely not going to take the TQ spot. I think JB de Borg's going to hold on to that, I'm sure. It's about whether Eriksson manages to overlap Evjen or Gundersen. I think they're all quick enough. I reckon Evjen will hold on to a top 3, but Gundersen and Eriksson it's if Ericsson is quick enough to beat Hedström. What are his lap times like? 49.8s, 49.9s? Yes, he
way
is.
quicker.
So Ericsson should be able to get this one. We've seen Ben-Philip Gunnarsson going backwards. Ericsson crosses the line, takes the flag. 3:29.9, he's quick enough to win the session. JB de Borg, 3:36, he's faster as well than Hedström. Evjen, though, with a 3:32.8 further down. Yeah, this is going to mix things up. Ericsson's going to go up the leaderboard, but JB de Borg, I think, is going to be TQ man. May close the championship gap down a little bit to Oliver Ericsson. Two top guys in the title fight are there, P1 and P2. Karai goes third quickest, great job. Hedström is fourth, fantastic for him with those new tyres. It's about, I suppose, where they end up overall in qualifying as a result of these results. Evjen down in sixth, Ben-Philip Gunnarsson was in the mix, but a problem on the last lap sees him eighth. Great start for Karai on the outside. He only had a couple of metres. Not even that, sorry, a couple of feet maybe.
That's all he needed though. He was in that wider grid slot, so he was able to carry the speed.
Yeah. There's an obsession, isn't there? Is it an unnecessary obsession with the inside line?
I think so. It's that feeling of I've got pole, I have to be the first into the first corner.
Pole in a semi and a final, I feel very differently about. But pole in a heat race, well, that's why we love the heat races, isn't it? We love seeing the cars start side by side. Gunnarsson in turn 3 was so committed. He literally, if he hadn't had opposite lock on, he'd have clipped the tyre barrier on the inside. If he'd had left-handed lock on, this was that mega merge. Gunnarsson, I don't know if he lit it up a bit more, I wasn't sure. I think Gunnarsson was maybe trying to hold de Borg off, but did it at the wrong point in the corner. He was too early with the lift, and therefore when he got to the exit, de Borg overlapped him. But great job, Ollie Ericsson, but JB de Borg right there with him. Jean-Baptiste de Borg then is your TQ man here. Oliver Ericsson, though, with a win in Q3 and Q4, moves himself up to second place and only loses 1 championship point. Brilliant drive and tactics by him. Sondre Evjen will be on the front row with de Borg in semi-1. Ben-Philip Gunnarsson, assuming they get the issues sorted, I'm sure they will be on the front row with Ollie Ericsson in semi-2. They had a great fight a couple of weeks back in Denmark in Rallycross Nordic, so expect that fight to continue. Karai, Andrea de Borg, Peter Hedström is 7th, so he'll be row 2. And then we've got Eken and Pleskavas, August and Oberg made. Andre Oon and Thomas Brinterson not in the semis here. Woo! Good job by Ericsson there, really good. That's proper championship recovery stuff. He doesn't need it, he's got a 7-point lead, but you need every point, especially you look at de Borg. De Borg looks like he's really switched on. He's firing on all cylinders, he wants it. And so that makes him danger, doesn't it? Yeah, 100%, especially with only 3 rounds as well. You've got to do the best in every round. Project E, their final qualifying session now. Here's the grid. Cyril Raymond on the inside, then it's Svein Bjarte Holten, Natalie Barrett and Yannis Baumanis. Outside for Baumanis, he's P2 after Q3 and should hold on to that barring any problems in turn 1, but that's what he had last time, a problem in turn 1. Tiny bit of contact, no one's fault really, racing incident, wasn't even investigated. Barrett's doing well, beating Holten, but the minute it's Cyril Raymond debuting the brand new C3 ERX to great effect, going to take the top qualifier spot almost certainly. Car looks fantastic. You can see on the top it says C3 R5 family. It's based on the R5 car, which of course is now a Rally 2 machine. Lovely, confusing regulation changes. To be fair, it's going to work out okay. WRC1, WRC2, etc. I get it. It's just that the cars were numbered the other way. Amazing start by Cyril Raymond on the inside. Baumanis equaling him on the outside. Baumanis straight round the outside. That's what Dan Rook was saying about the wider grid slots give you a better position to get the whole shot. And that's what Baumanis has done. Now we're going to see a proper fight. So the Latvian fans up in that big grandstand outside turn 3 will be really pleased about that. Watch Barrett at the back. She's managed to beat Holten in previous sessions. Slightly sideways from Baumanis as he comes through the right-hander onto the loose section. Cyril Raymond as well. Cyril having to turn the nose of the car out in that right-hander. So maybe a bit of a bump there that's unsettling them, but yeah, we've got to fight back on that, haven't we? Yeah, which is what we want to see. This is, look, we all know the score. fans are nervous about electric rallycross. If me and Dan are honest, you know, I love rallycross, I love the noise, I get it, but progress, it's a case of whether or not the sport can survive long term without electric rallycross. If you said in 10 years' time, even in 5 years' time, let's say somebody at the end of this year said, that's it, all motorsport has to be electric. You tell me at home what the best spectacle will be. If F1's electric and rally's electric, we have the best visual spectacle. We are really lucky with that. We've got gravel, we've got tarmac, we've got side-by-side starts. This is what racing would look like, but then you've got to imagine 10, 15, 20 cars. I get it, everybody it's change. We don't like change necessarily, but if change is like this, I'm up for it.
Yeah, this is a really good change, isn't it? It's the best format to showcase electric cars in.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, there's no waiting, no changing cars, no batteries, you know, life worries. It's basically how hot can we run this car? Cyril Raymond looking up the inside of Balmanis in the standard lap, got alongside him. It's making it really hard.
Don't think I've ever seen anybody try and do an overtake there.
Got the torque, hasn't he, to lay it down. Cyril Raymond is absolutely piling the pressure onto Yanis Balmanis here at home in Latvia. Cyril will go joker here if Yanis doesn't. In some ways, the clever tactic now is to send Yanis, because I'm trying to think it where you have to commit to the joker earlier, don't you? So Yanis, but then if he moves left, Cyril will see it. It's not, you know what I mean? The braking zone's deep. You want to fool him, and he follows you in there. Yeah,
it's going to be a hard one to do, though, because if he tries to fool him, then he's going to end up being in the loose stuff as he crosses over the lines.
Yeah. This is Natalie Barrett behind Petter Holten. Not quite so committed to the throttle, but both of them, well, Natalie doing a brilliant job. Cyril Raymond goes joker now. Cyril Raymond in the joker lap in the C3, drops a wheel onto the grass on the outside. Yanis Balmanis will know now that this lap has got to be absolutely perfect. Watch him through the long left-hander. He's on the gas super early. So much torque and power. You can hear wheel spin from Cyril Raymond as he exits on the tighter line. The gap is 3.1 at the moment, Dan. That is about as close as it can be.
Yeah, that is pretty much what our limit is, isn't it, for the joker lap? So what can Cyril do now that he's got that clean air? 2.9.
Yeah, so he's taken 2/10 off him. So Cyril Raymond is hunting Balmanis down. Balmanis, the only man not to have jokered yet. He'd love to hold on here. He's not going to be able to steal the TQ spot from Cyril Raymond after his problems in the previous session. But we have got a race on our hands now, and we're going to see another race later on today for their final. No semis, of course, for these guys. Project E final will be later on today in between the World RX semis and final. Cyril Raymond on the inside, going to be outside for the last corner. Here comes Yanis Balmanis. It's Ford versus Citroen in the last corner. Cyril chucks the car sideways now, going to gun it to the line. Outguns Balmanis. Cyril Raymond gets him at the last corner. So Cyril Raymond wins Q4. Holten and Barrett. Oh, Holten spins over the finish. Get on the brake. Could have kept that out the wall, surely.
Should have got on the gas.
Yeah, true. Yeah, with that amount of torque. Cyril Raymond beating Yanis Balmanis. In the end, it was just under 4/10. And that will definitely mean that he will be top qualified. Balmanis second, Petter Holten beats Natalie Barrett this time round, but we've got two fights on our hands, one between the two pro rallycross drivers and one between Holten and Barrett, who've been doing brilliantly here in these high grip conditions for Project E. Wheel spin is the key off the line. I think in Höljes we saw a lot of people gunning it. I talked to Natalie last night. I think you were with me, weren't you? We walked out, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Walked out through the paddock, and she was saying that Cyril and Yanis are just fully lit off the line. She said they were both running the cars in 1-1 in terms of the settings, and we need to see the cars and drive the cars. Hint, hint. We need to kind of have a go in them. But it's all about what settings in terms of how much power you put to the front and the rear. This was Cyril having a look up the inside. He nearly pulled that off. He's obviously got mega traction in the C3.
Yeah, he's really got it nailed, hasn't he? But it's come from that rally chassis, isn't it? Rally chassis in rallycross have got very good history.
Just tied, he gives it just a car's width on the inside and takes it. Fantastic drive. Cyril Raymond is the top qualifier for round 2 of Project E, the second ever race meeting for these electric rallycross cars. Citroen C3 ERX top qualifier on its debut. Yanis Balmanis at home in Latvia is P2. Petter Holten has nicked P3 from Natalie Barrett in the very last qualifying session. Their final will be up later today. So there's a bit of work to do down in the paddock for Christian Szabó's team. We know there was that big fire. Neil Cole is with them now. We'll find out whether or not they're going to be able to get back out for Q3.
Well, yeah, down at GRX, and there's a lot of work going on repair-wise underneath, but mainly a lot of clean-up going on inside because the fire is very scary and leaves a lot of debris inside. Luckily, it was all okay for Christian Szabó, but tell us what happened.
Well, in the third lap, just some smoke came out of under the dashboard and outside. It was a bit hard to see and to breathe actually, so I even opened the window by the end of the third lap, but it didn't help. Then in the last lap after the second corner, just flames came up, so it started to burn inside. There's a hole on the exhaust, so it just burned through, and yeah, the flames just started to go on the firewall, so it just got heat there, everything, and something got fire inside. Actually, I don't think that's a lot of work's going on, but it's not a big problem. I'm sure that the guys will put it together, and I'll be there in Q3.
Okay, so we think that maybe it was a crack in the manifold, so that was the cause of the fire, but you're confident. I mean, you've got about an hour really until you need to be up to the pre-grid. Confident you'll be there?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay, that's great news. Thanks, Christian.
Thank you.
Good to see you are safe from the fire. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so yeah, work to do, but this is the big story, and working incredibly hard to make sure this car is not just safe to drive, but competitive for the next. So the next live stream starts at 1:10, which will have the Euro semi-finals, and then the final session of qualifying for World RX. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you at the next live stream.